All right, welcome back, True Seeker. I believe we're live. The 86th Masters has just concluded, and the hottest golfer in the world, Scottie Scheffler, has just won it. And there were some big clues that he was the man for the 86th Masters. And one of them was that he won the PGA tournament, the Dell Open, on the 86th day of the year, March 27th, 86 days before his birthday. And another clue was that he went to the same high school as Clayton Kershaw and Matt Stafford. And of course, Matt Stafford just won Super Bowl 56 days before today, which happens to be a date with 56 numerology. And there were a few other things along the way, which we're going to talk about. So again, congrats to the winners. My streak of 3 years in a row out the gate broke this year. I thought Scheffler had about the second best riddle to win it, but the man I favored a little bit more than him, which in hindsight, look at him like, why did I do that? That Scheffler 86th day of the year was the top riddle. The man I favored a little bit was Colin Morikawa, just because of how the last day of this tournament lined up with Morikawa. He finished in the top 5, so he didn't have a bad day. But we'll talk about all the guys up at the top of the leaderboard. But again, congrats to the winners. Last night on Patreon, we went over why Scheffler should definitely close it out. He had an excellent riddle today, synced up with Matt Stafford. And again, for all of the people who are skeptics and who say, oh, you can't rig sports and you can't rig PGA, again, you guys really need to stop and actually listen to what I'm saying and listen to the accomplishments of the community, because we're going to go over a few different things here. We're going to bring in college football and Georgia winning this year, Stafford's old school, and how it's the same pattern with what happened today, which is documentable when you know what to look for. And again, we talked about all this stuff before any of this happened, but again, for the people who are too cheap to sign up for the Patreon and who don't want to learn, the knowledge, again, I put it out here for free because I am trying to get people to wake up to what is going on in the world. And we're also going to talk about the death of Dwayne Haskins, which is yesterday I made the point. I don't think he died by accident the day he died, the day he did, in light of the connections he has to Scottie Scheffler. Again, they're both from New Jersey originally. And I know he's playing in Texas, Scheffler, now, but both men are originally from New Jersey, like the mob and the dumpster business. And Haskins hit by a dumpster when Scheffler won the Waste Management Open the day of the Super Bowl. And now an NFL player is dead by a dump truck. And we'll just start right here. Again, if you're new here, Gematria is based on the alphabetic order forwards and backwards. And the most simple things to understand, they refer to the Waste Management Open as the WM Open. I think they want to hide the WM Waste Management because, golf's prestigious. Do you really want to be thinking about a trash company? So they refer to it as the WM Open, which Scheffler won the day of the Super Bowl. And I just want you to see how it equals 86 with the alphabetic order forwards and 76 in reverse. And 76 matters a lot because today was the 76th tournament for Scheffler in his young PGA career. It was his 76th tournament. And of course, for years, I've been teaching about 76 in the Masters. Jack Nicklaus, who won the Masters in 86, the first day of the tournament was his 76th day of his age. And look at this name. Tiger has the 76 in it. Woods has the 76 in it. Master has the 76 in it. So this is why, again, I should be saying, man, I hit the Masters for the 4th year in a row. We weren't far off, though. Again, Morikawa finished top 5, and Scheffler had the next best. Scheffler had the best riddle, really. I was just too stuck on an Asian golfer winning in back-to-back years. If you recall, before last year's Masters, there was the mass shooting of several Asians at multiple spas, and I was thinking maybe that would transition into this year as well since it was multiple locations. Anyway, Scheffler, as we'll get to, just had so many things that lined up, and he had the best 86 riddle of the year coming into the tournament, the 86 Masters, and again, he finishes right on top. But here's what I put out for free last night. For people who aren't on my Patreon, I left these notes out there for the public. This was posted last night, April 9th, after the conclusion of day 3 at the Masters. I'm out here on the West Coast. But we were talking about the significance of Scheffler being 9 under on the 99th day of the year in light of the numbers that we know that matter at the Masters. But again, I put all this information out there last night, and we'll go through and I'll show you that all this is true. But again, if you follow my website, GematriaEffectNews, you could have got essentially the same thing that you got on Patreon. You didn't get the video presentation. You didn't get to hear the live calls. You weren't on the Patreon page. But I decided to just make the post public. So I wrote, Scottie Scheffler went to the same high school as Matt Stafford. And these are things we've been talking about, but we were just making sure it all lined up last night so that Scheffler wasn't fool's gold with the lead going into the last day. And he didn't look like fool's gold. It looked like he's taking care of business. But Scottie Scheffler went to the same high school as Matt Stafford and won the PGA tournament the day of Super Bowl 56, 56 days before Green Jacket Sunday. Scheffler also won the PGA tournament on the 86th day of the year, 86 days before his birthday, and now it is the 86th Masters. So today's date numerology, April 10th, 2022, Green Jacket Sunday, 4 plus 10 plus 20 plus 22, 56. And then I write for the next thing, the Masters will conclude 62 days after Matt Stafford's birthday and 293 days after Scheffler's. And in Gematria, 293 is the 62nd prime number. In Gematria with numerology, Augusta, Georgia is 62. And remember, Georgia with just the alphabetic order alone is 62. Stafford's College, Georgia won the championship over Alabama, which we predicted before Week 2 began. And then when Week 2 happened, we got the 62s that we wanted to see. And we said, this looks really good. Alabama, Georgia. Georgia wins, giving Alabama their 25th loss versus Georgia all-time on the Pope's 25th day of his age. And that's exactly what happened. And notice, let's do this real quick. So, when I first got here, I didn't know to run the alphabetic order in reverse. If you watched me years ago, the ciphers I knew were the alphabetic order and the alphabetic order of the rules of numerology. And by the way, in this tournament, Scheffler is getting his 22nd PGA top 10 in his 76th tournament. So before the tournament began, I told my people pretty much Scheffler looks like lock city for a top 10 finish, and you can still get decent odds on things like that. You don't even need to bet on guys to get in first. But in his 76th tournament, getting his 22 top 10 finish, remember 3 years ago, we knew it was lock city for Tiger to win the Masters because it was 22 years after his first Masters, and 11 years since his last major win. And the two master numbers are 11 and 22. If you were in last night's live stream, a gentleman called in who learned this code, and he's been applying it week after week with golf, and he's getting better as time goes on. And he said he really liked Lowry to finish in third because it was 137 days after his birthday, the 33rd prime, 33 like 3. And today Lowry did finish in third. And that man said he's been making that observation throughout the year. He's realized that's a good pattern when it's 137 days after a golfer's birthday. A lot of the times they finish in third because it's the 33rd prime. But Scheffler today gets his 22nd top 10 in PGA in his 76th tournament. Just think about that. These are the original ciphers that I've taught and learned from Manly P. Hall's The Secret Teachings of All Ages. I honestly think Scheffler screwed up at the end and was supposed to shoot an 11 under. But if you saw the end of it, he didn't finish with style. He could have finished 12 under, could have easily finished 11 under, and then he ended up finishing 10 under because he couldn't just make his little short putt at the end. But anyhow, here, Matt Stafford, his birthday. I just want you to see how all this lines up. So you know that we're not making this up, and then we'll go back and look at what happened in college football in Week 2, which was the sign for Georgia, Alabama. I just want you to see how this is all perfectly scripted. These guys were born and bred to be. These two guys are from a very wealthy area in Texas, and they go to a very wealthy school where, the average income of families is in the millions. These guys are from an exclusive area of America. And you know how once upon a time it was royalty, and you worship the king and you bow down for the king, and when the king's son comes out and he plays croquet or whatever, you just get on your hands and knees and cheer on the way he plays croquet. It's the same thing, you guys. These guys are born into royalty, and we worship on the world stage playing in these rigged sports games. It's not to say that they're not talented and athletic and fit the part. They've trained their life for this. But again, the only way to make sure you win a golf tournament is just that the rest of the field plays behind. And these guys are all multimillionaires on the tour, just like they're all multimillionaires in the NFL, for the most part. A few guys that might barely make the team and only be worth a $500,000. Not too bad for playing a few months of football and then being done. But anyway, Matt Stafford, February 7th. That's the 38th day of the year. Today's the 100th day, so just simple math. You should be able to add that that's 62 days later. So here we go. February 7th, his birthday. And remember, he turned 34 years old right before he became the 34th quarterback to win a Super Bowl. And course, they have the same colors. By the way, their high school that they went to has the same colors as the Rams, gold and blue like Ukraine. Ukraine equals 34. Sean McVay's wife, or not wife, excuse me, fiance is from Ukraine. Kansas, the 34th state, just won March Madness, picking up their 34th win of the season. But here we go. April 10th, 62 days later, right? 62 days. And we talk about this all the time with the simple alphabetic order. Georgia's 62. Notice it's also 44 with numerology, like Matt Stafford won the Super Bowl on the 44th day of the year. But Augusta, Georgia, with the numerology is 62. Okay? Augusta, Georgia, 62. So 62 days after Stafford's birthday, again, he won Super Bowl 56, went to the same high school. As we'll get to, the first principal of the high school, it's on the Wikipedia page. The first principal of that high school was principal for 34 years. And God, I forget if it's the University of Texas or it's the high school that turns 139 years old this year, but it's one of them, and that's the 34th prime number. I want to say it's the University of Texas where he went to college. And by the way, did you know there was a record purse of $15 million this year for the Masters? And Texas is 15, and the Texas product, Scheffler wins it. Again, he's born in New Jersey, went to college in Texas. But, okay, with regards to Georgia in 62, here's Scottie Scheffler's birthday. If I'm not mistaken, it's June 21st. So June 21st, so we're going to measure from his last birthday, June 21st, 2021 to today, and you see it's 293 days later. And what is 293? It is the 62nd prime number. Again, today's tournament, the Masters, is in Georgia, just like where Stafford went to college. The number 293, is it prime? Yes, it's the 62nd prime. So we were clued into these things when the tournament began. And again, this is what happens when you do the research, when you know the gematria, when you understand the prime number relationships, you see who has wonderful alignments. And, Scheffler paid 16-1 before the tournament began. Part of the reason I favored Morikawa a little bit more is because I thought that the odds didn't make sense. I didn't understand why Morikawa was ranked so high on the odds. He had a great riddle too, and I was like, maybe because they're hardly paying out anything on him, it's a sign that he's going to win it. And Scheffler should have been ranked higher than Morikawa. He's the hottest player on the tour. So that was one of the things that teased my mind. But anyway, we've still done great here regardless. And so now here's what I want to go back to. I want to go back to college football week 2. And I told my people, I said, if we get the Georgia-Alabama numbers in these games in week 2, I mean, this thing is on. And man, did we get them in a big way, and we got 62. And let me go back and show this to you. I want you to see how Alabama played the Mercer School, which is right outside of Atlanta, Georgia. Where is NCAA football? There it is. Okay, here we go. So we're going to go to the scores, and we're going to go back in time to week 2 of the college football season. By the way, these games were 97 days before the Pope's birthday, which is the 25th prime, and then on the Pope's 25th day of his age, again, Alabama beat Georgia to give them... Again, Georgia picked up their 25th win all-time against Alabama on the Pope's 25th day of his age. Remember, it's the Jesuits who run this whole damn show. But okay, this is week 2 of the college football season, September 10th, 2021. Alabama's playing Mercer, which is in Georgia. The score is 48-14. What's 48 plus 14? 62, right? Notice Georgia won with 56 that day. Matt Stafford ends up winning Super Bowl 56. Scottie Scheffler ends up winning 56 days after Super Bowl 56 on a 56-date numerology. Society of Jesus 56, Pope 56. Why we were saying it was all synced up with the Pope, the Jesuits. And then to scroll down here for the other top 25 games, Auburn versus Alabama State. So you had an all Alabama game this day where Auburn wastes Alabama State 62-0. And that's not a normal football score, 62-0. I mean, so again, we've been doing this for years, you guys. For years, I've been proving this year after year, teaching the same stuff with the same ciphers, with the same methodology, measuring from birthdays, prime number relationships. Nothing has ever changed in the way that I teach the work. But the same year, I have new people come to the videos and be like, do you know how crazy you sound? You can't rig sports. How do you rig a golf match? And again, it's just like, do these people have like no intuition? Do these people have no imagination? If you have a trained group of 100 men who are the best golfers in the world, who are damn near automatic at their sport because they were born and raised to do this, because they're paid millions of dollars to do this, because they have $1 million endorsement deals to do this, if Cameron Smith, needs to hit a double bogey to, get back to help Scheffler cushion his lead, he can easily do that. Just leave your face a little bit open. Take a little bit off the swing, hit the grass a little bit early. Now you're in the swamp. Now you're in the woods. And again, it's not that these guys need to be perfect on every stroke if everyone understands. Listen, if I want to be in the PGA and continue on tour and not end up as the next celebrity who died in a car crash, all I need to do is make sure I'm behind Scheffler on the scoreboard by the time the thing ends. And remember when Phil Mickelson won the PGA Championship the other year at the old age he did, looking like a burnt lobster in the sun? Him and I went to the same school, so hating on my own alumni, I guess. But Phil Mickelson, I mean, you could just see he didn't even have like a championship performance. Just everybody else just happened to be playing like crap that day. I mean, he was like duffing it into the championship at the end. It's like, I don't know how people don't see through this shit. But again, you guys, if you think this stuff's a coincidence, again, talk to the people who hit on the futures for Georgia and Alabama this year. We had this before week 2, and we saw exactly what we wanted to see in week 2. We're looking for the scores that hit the numbers for the schools. They do the same stuff over and over. So I'm talking about 62 on September 11th, 2021, the day of these games. And what a day, right? What a day for such a ritual. It's a whole nother, there's things I want to tell you, but again, we've talked about them before. They're in books. Anyway, so we've established the significance of 62, right? Now, also interesting, Georgia is the 4th state in order of statehood, and if Scheffler won, which he did, he was going to get his 4th PGA first, and he's racking up these firsts in a hurry right now. I think this is his 4th win already this year. I think all 4 of his first plays were this year. This man's on fire right now. If Alicia Keys' song was "This Man Is on Fire," it'd be about Tony Scheffler. Or what did I just call him, Tony? Scottie. And don't forget on Jordan's birthday, you guys, Jordan Spieth and Scottie Scheffler were in first place in the tournament all day until like the last golfer who was age 23, like Jordan 23, surpassed both of them at the end of the day. But all day, Scottie and Jordan were at the top of the leaderboard in the PGA on Michael Jordan's birthday. And don't forget what just happened to Scottie Pippen's son the other year. Died on the first day at Taurus, the Bull, while the Bulls' record was 23-33. The exact numbers Scottie Pippen wore, 23 for Jordan, 33 for Pippen. I mean, you don't think sick stuff's going on? Because we're about to get into the next piece here. The death of Dwayne Haskins hit by the dumpster. The mob. Okay, so on the 99th day of the year, this is a huge number. At the Masters. And I just want you to see the way 99 factors in with the Masters in Gematria. So again, from Jack Nicklaus' birthday to the first day of this tournament was his 76th day of his age. It ends up being Scheffler who wins in his 76th tournament. We're Masters 76. But here's what I want you to see. In Gematria, Augusta, when you run the alphabetic order in reverse, is 99, right? Green Jacket is 99. You get the green jacket. When you run the alphabetic order forwards, green jacket's 99. In reverse, Augusta, 99. And then the course, Augusta National Golf Course, the official name, when you use the alphabetic order in numerology, it's also 99. Tiger's big story. Remember, Tiger has the crash, right? Here, I just want to pull out the base ciphers to show you something about crash. Crash has the 86 in it when you run the alphabetic order in reverse, right? 86 also has the 49. We know what happened on April 9th, the 99th day of the year. You had the death of the former Washington Redskins player, again, who's from New Jersey like Scheffler. Washington's 49 and Redskins. He was the last black quarterback for the Redskins, the first team to have a black quarterback to win the Super Bowl. But Redskins 99, the last black Redskins quarterback's dead on the 99th day of the year. Tiger Woods is in this comeback story from the crash. This year's tournament began on Tiger Woods' 99th day of his age. He made the cut. He was a story. They're talking about how gritty it was for him to come back from this horrible injury, where, again, you have zero proof that he was ever injured. Zero proof. You have not seen anything about him coming out of the car. You never saw him in a hospital doing any kind of treatment or rehabilitation. You just saw stories and people on TV talking about it. And like we told you, day 1. February 23rd was the day of the crash. The 54th day of the year. Tiger Woods 54 forwards and backwards. And Jesuit order. And what's the Jesuits' colors? Red and black. What does Tiger wear every Sunday? Red and black. Tiger Woods 54. Also 153 in reverse. Jesuit order number. Remember, Dwayne Haskins' name has the Jesuit order numbers. It has the 153, the 54, and the 72, just like Jesuit order. He died 72 days after Ben Roethlisberger's retirement and 153 days before the new season. And what's amazing is, again, the mafia, right? The mafia. The American mafia right now, which is big in the dumpster business, big in the trash business. I mean, they told you this to you in The Sopranos. The American mafia is 153 years old right now. 153 years old. You see it? 153, established in 1869. And the mafia is Italian, like the Jesuits, like the Catholic Church, who control the whole show. And remember, Sopranos equals 99. Tony Soprano died June 19th, 2013, on the Pope's 99th day of being Pope. And Pope Francis is the first Jesuit Pope. Tony Soprano, played by James Gandolfini, died in Rome, Italy, where the Jesuits are, where the Vatican is. Dead on the Pope's 99th day of his age. The dumpster thing with Haskins on the 99th day of the year. The Sopranos set in New Jersey. Haskins from New Jersey. Scheffler from New Jersey. You see? What are the odds of these things? This number connecting to the Masters. Again, the day of the Super Bowl. Scheffler won the Waste Management Open. And again, it matters. Gematria, forwards and backwards. They call it the WM Open, the garbage company. 86. And then, Tiger's back from the crash at 86, right? They're comparing it to the 1986 Masters, where Nicklaus won at 46. This year, Tiger was 46. Tiger has the wrong shade color of skin, though. Are they ever going to let Tiger pass Sam Snead, or is he going to stay tied? I mean, we'll see. He should play for many more years, you would think. But just realize what they've done to Tiger, you guys. He was on the verge of passing every record over a decade ago. And then right when he was there to pass everything, then, scandal, affairs. And go back and look, you guys. Look at when they put out the text messages of Tiger Woods telling the woman to meet him in the hotel room when they were shaming him on TV. It was room 201. You can't get more Jesuit than 201. That's why we're going to be in Oklahoma City April 19th to educate that town about the 201 ritual that happened to them in 1995 with the Oklahoma City building bombing. Again, look all this stuff up. It's all facts. The Jesuit order saved by Catherine the Great in the time of their suppression. She preserved the order with 201 Jesuit priests. The first Jesuit Pope, Pope Francis, is the first to live in Suite 201 at the Vatican. His name is Pope Francis. The Jesuits are from France. The last French Pope was the 201st Pope. When you write out the Jesuit order, it has that 201 in reverse. Order of Illuminati equals 201, founded by the Jesuit Adam Weishaupt. The founder of the Jesuits is Ignatius of Loyola, whose name equals 201. Pope Francis, his birth name, Jorge Mario Bergoglio, 201. Remember last year what they did with Baylor, the Christian school, beating Gonzaga, the Jesuit school. Elgin Baylor died at 86. By the way, Jesuits, the plural's 86. Elgin Baylor, who went to the Jesuit school in Washington State, Seattle University, the state that has two Jesuit schools, Gonzaga and Seattle U. He dies at 86 on March 22nd. And then Baylor wins the championship 201 days after Elgin Baylor's birthday with 86 points. And it was exactly 201 days before Scott Drew, their coach's upcoming birthday, who played his college career in Indianapolis, where the championship was, playing for Butler, another Bulldogs team like Gonzaga. And realize, Indianapolis is the only city in America that has Gematria 201. The only city. And this year, when Georgia beat Alabama, the coach was in attendance, the last coach to win the championship with Georgia, and take a minute to look up how many wins he had. You'll see that he had 201 wins. You know what? And for those of you guys who think we get too mathematical here, I just got to pull up this post real quick. This should pull it up, unless my search engine's sucking today. Come on, man. I think this right here. Yeah, Vince Dooley. I want you to see this about Vince Dooley. Vince Dooley was the last Georgia coach to win the championship. So notice, from his September 4th birthday to the day that Georgia won the championship was his 129th day of his age. His name equals 129. 129 has a direct relationship with the number 201. 129 is the number 201 in base 8 counting. And notice, his win career with Georgia, I put it in here, didn't I? Here. Okay, so these are Vince Dooley's records. The last Georgia coach to win the championship, when his career was said and done, he had 201 wins, 77 losses, 10 ties. And then he's there in Indianapolis, where the last time there was a college championship in Indianapolis, it was a big 201 ritual. And again, it involved Elgin Baylor, who went to a Jesuit school. It involved Gonzaga, who lost. And by the way, Gonzaga is named after Aloysius de Gonzaga, whose name is also 201. Aloysius de Gonzaga, 201. You know? But yeah, go back and look at a Tiger Woods affair that just ruined his career until he came back and won the 2019 Masters in a huge master number ritual, like we talked about at the start. But again, you'll see in the text message, it was room 201. And this is nothing new. I mean, when Bill Gates, here, it goes on beyond sports. Bill Gates, who was married to Melinda Gates, who has the same birthday as the Jesuit order, who comes from a family of Jesuit priests, his full name is 201. It's 258 in his verse. His dad died on the 258th day of the year in 2020. Established his vaccine alliance on the 258th day of his age. He was the co-sponsor of Event 201, the coronavirus pandemic simulation. As the people in Seattle told me, there's no conspiracy. It's just because he's a brilliant guy and he knows what's happening before it happens. That's why he's a multi-billionaire. He's got great powers as a man. People in Seattle have told me everything about Bill Gates. No conspiracy. The guy's just like a genius rocket scientist who knows what's happening before anyone else. But then they don't give me the same credit, who's nailed so many things in this world. You know, even calling what day Bill Gates' Moderna vaccine stock value was going to blow up before it happened. It was easy to know. Bill Gates 57, vaccine 57, blew up on May 7th, did it. His heavily invested in Moderna. Day it was first approved for phase 2 testing. First COVID vaccine approved for phase 2 testing. May 7, 2020, Moderna. Owned by the Jesuit-educated CEO who's born on the 201st day of the year. And then the man who's the co-chair for the company, his name in Gematria is 201. You can go on all day about this subject. But, again, the Jesuits, the rituals. Remember, the Order of Illuminati, you guys, it's not a joke. The Order of Illuminati was founded by the Jesuit Adam Weishaupt, May 1st, 1776. He died in history November 18th, 1830, 201 days after the anniversary of the establishment. And he founded the Illuminati on a date with 99 numerology with 13 families. And when you spell out 13 as a word, it equals 99. Now, Tiger Woods, who's making this great return, he shot 13 over for the tournament. Scheffler, who just won, his buddy Stafford just won the Super Bowl in his 13th season. And remember, in the opening round, he played on Monday Night Football, the day of the week named after the moon that's on a 13-month cycle, and beat the Cardinals on MLK Day from Arizona, the last state to recognize MLK Day, and they got humiliated in that game. And when you spell out Monday Night Football, it equals 213, like the date of the Super Bowl. Wait till we get to the name of the high school that Scheffler and Stafford went to. You'll see that their high school equals 213. But that's the LA area code, the day of the Super Bowl. But remember, Stafford coming into the playoffs this year in his 13th season, he was 0-3 for his career. In Detroit, he never won a game. Eminem from Detroit comes to the Super Bowl in LA, it's Stafford Day. But Stafford won his first game, so he became 1-3 in the playoffs. Then he won in the next round, beating Brady on the road in Tampa, and he became 1-3 on the road in the playoffs for his career. His first ever home playoff game was the first ever one with Los Angeles this year over the Cardinals in the wild card round. Week 2, he had to travel to Tampa to face Brady. Last year, Stafford was celebrating his birthday as Brady was winning the Super Bowl. Brady's history with the Rams continued on this year with the Rams winning it after his fake retirement by the numbers. But again, so Stafford became 1-3 in the playoffs opening round, 1-3 on the road in the playoffs in the second round, and then for the 49ers in the NFC Championship, he had 13 unanswered points to win the game, coming back from down 10 in the fourth quarter, 13 unanswered points to win it. And then in the Super Bowl, he was 0-3 versus the Bengals for his career. He beat the Bengals and became 1-3. And, Super Bowl, we thought it was going to be a 3-point game. It was a really close call. If you took the 3 points with the Bengals, you got the best outcome of that Super Bowl. And we also thought number 3, Odell Beckham, would score the winning touchdown, or not the winning, but the first touchdown of the Super Bowl, which paid 9-1. And why did we think Odell Beckham would score the winning touchdown? A couple reasons. Odell Beckham Jr. equals 56 in the most pure cipher. His birthday is remember the 5th of November, the day leaving 56 days left in the year. The Rams are originally from Cleveland. Odell got traded on his birthday, the day leaving 56 days left in the year, from Cleveland to the Rams. Again, the Rams are originally from Cleveland, if you didn't know that. Kind of like how LeBron went from Cleveland to L.A. But also, his number 3 was important. Well, hold on. He also got traded on his 29th birthday, for the record, in football's 29 in the most pure cipher. He got traded on his 29th birthday. And Ohio is also 29, the birthplace of football. He got traded from Ohio to L.A., ends up beating the other Ohio team in the Super Bowl, the Bengals, in the year of the Tiger. The Bengal Tigers go down. None of the Tiger teams are winning in the year of the Tiger, so pay attention to that. You know, just because somebody has a Tiger connection doesn't necessarily mean they're going to win. We're definitely figuring that out this year. But the other thing is just the number 3. If you spell out 3 in the most simple cipher, it's 56. And if you spell out light, it's also 56. And if you know the Bible, in the 3rd verse of the Bible, God makes light. And that's the story that the 3 Abrahamic religions share, and Abrahamic's also 56. You notice it's 187 in reverse, like there's 187 chapters in the Torah. And Society of Jesus, you know, the Jesuits who figured all this stuff out and encoded the language, they got the 56, 187. But if you didn't know this, just for the record, Catholic, with the reverse alphabetic order, is 145 and 46. Again, there's 145 more chapters in the Catholic Old Testament than Protestant Old Testament. And there's 46 books in the Catholic Old Testament. And you see how Catholics got the 35 and 46? Remember JFK, the first Catholic president, number 35, killed at age 46. We said Biden would win the 59th presidential election, synced up with Pope Francis, because it was 46 weeks after the Pope's birthday. And again, the only Catholic president to date was killed at age 46. Plus, Beau Biden was killed 201 days before the Pope's birthday at age 46. And for the record, the priest who did the funeral for Beau Biden at age 46 and the inauguration for Joe Biden at age 46, the Jesuit priest who was the president of Georgetown, the Jesuit University in D.C., look it up. These are all facts. Leo Jeremiah O'Donovan, 201, Jesuit priest, former president of Georgetown, did the funeral for Beau Biden and did the inauguration for Joe Biden on 20/1. And for the record, if you go to the government website and you type in the official name of Inauguration Day, Inauguration of the President of the United States is the official name. You see how it's 201, alphabetic order and rules of numerology, 20/1. Again, you guys, this is a Jesuit-controlled nation. These are their rituals. It's the ruling class. It's the people in the club that George Carlin talked about. We're not in it. We're spectators. We see most of it through the lens, through the TV screen. If you flew to Georgia and paid $100 and some bucks, you got to watch in person today from the sidelines. Hope you didn't get shot with a wild ball, you know? But this number's so big, you guys. The words in the CIA's logo, Central Intelligence Agency, United States of America. Look it up. Those are the exact words in the CIA's logo. 201. It's not just that. It's the fact that it was established 201 days after the Pope's birthday on September 18th, 47. It's not an accident that John Krasinski from The Office in Scranton, where Joe Biden's from, ran for 201 episodes, and then after that, he did the CIA character, the Jesuit-educated CIA character for the Amazon remake of the Jack Ryan series. Again, none of this stuff's an accident. The Office, the hit show on NBC, ran 201 episodes. In nearly every episode, you see the Jesuit prep school flag that's there in Scranton. Biden's originally from that town. Scranton. Mr. 201, Joe Biden, born and bred to be for the rigged presidency. And again, these guys are trained to fit the part, right? They're trained to be politicians. They're trained to be in front of cameras. They're trained to do the job that they do on the world stage as the rest of the world watches. And also, things that I posted out there last night. From Scheffler's June 21st birthday to University of Texas at Austin's establishment anniversary, September 15th, is 86 days later. So another 86. Shout out to the Don Mata. The Don Mata, you know, a man that listens and likes to use his own mind and likes to bet way bigger than I ever feel comfortable betting. But the Don Mata, he texted me this morning. I'm sure he won a lot on Scheffler today because he likes to lay down a lot of money. It's just like, I can't bet that much. But he saw this morning, he did an extra layer of research, and he said, the first golfer to ever go into the weekend by 5 or more strokes and end up winning it was 86 years ago, just like what Scheffler did this weekend. So the first time that happened was also 86 years ago. And now he wins it before his school's 86th birthday. Again, he won on the 86th day of the year at the Dell Open. 86 days before his birthday, now wins the 86th Masters. And, you know, Crash 86. Big storyline, Tiger back for the Crash. So his school is going to turn 139 years old, which is the 34th prime. Huge number in sports this year. Stafford started it. Their high school's original graduating class, you can look this up, was 34 students. The first principal at that school, was principal for 34 years. What else is wild is Clayton Kershaw. I'm going to show you what, for the first time since 2011, look at Clayton Kershaw's name in the most pure cipher, 86. Again, these guys all went to the same high school. Kershaw, Stafford, Scheffler. Kershaw wears the number 22, right? Like we talked about, Scheffler just got his 22nd top 10, and here's what else is awesome about this. Kershaw alone, by the way, equals 104. The tournament ends on 10/4, but this tournament ends 22 days after Kershaw's birthday, who wears number 22. And in the most pure cipher, both golf is 22 and Masters 22. And again, Kershaw's birthday, just so you can see it. March 19th, that's the 78th day of the year. You can do this math, right? There's 31 days in March, so plus 12 to the end of the month. Today's the 10th, 12 plus 10, 22. 22 days after number 22's birthday, Scheffler gets his 22nd PGA top 10. And again, he wins the Masters in his 76th tournament. Isn't it just so perfect? Masters, 76, 22, 86. In hindsight, I mean, I didn't give my people bad picks at the beginning. We knew that this guy had, arguably the most thing. I just thought because they had Morikawa so far up there and he had a good riddle too, that he might come out on top. But anyhow, we saw after going into the weekend, it was looking like it was Scheffler time on the 86 thing. So, and keep in mind, Masters also 41, which is the 13th prime number. Tiger, the best of the era, shoots a 13 over for the tournament. It's all connected. It's all connected. And by the way, where did Tiger get hurt? In L.A., right? Kershaw's in L.A., Stafford's in L.A. The car crash thing was in... But here's the thing about Kershaw. He's made the season opening start every year since 2011 for the Dodgers when he was healthy, and he's healthy this year, but they're saving him. They're saving him for their game against the Twins. So we got to think about this. I was talking about this last night. I was like, there's something to this because Twins is 22, and we see what they're doing with that. And Scheffler looks like we were saying this last night. It looks like he's pretty. I said I'll be shocked if he doesn't win tomorrow because it's just so synced up with his old high school buddies. But see how they're saving it for the Twins, and maybe the Twins were Stafford and we got Gemini upcoming, right? That's the Twins. I mean, there's no World Series in June. Well, we'll have to follow where their story's going. But again, just understand it's all connected. Twins 22 in the most pure. And here's the other thing. Like we talked about how Georgia's 62 and how it was synced up with the number 62 through Stafford and through Scheffler. Minneapolis also has that 62. You see? So he's making his team. He's making his debut, Kershaw, versus the Minneapolis team, the Twins. And then I wrote, and in light of Scheffler playing college golf in Texas and this being his 76th tournament, notice the death of NFL Dallas Cowboy Rayfield Wright on the opening day of the Masters at age 76. And what's creepy about this is this man who played for the Cowboys, guess what state he was born in? I'm going to let you think about it for a second. What state was Rayfield Wright born in who played in Texas? Again, if you need a hint, if you're drawing a blank, what state is the Masters golf course in that we've been talking a lot about? Big clue. So Rayfield Wright was born. Where's it at? I know this is the article where it says it. Maybe we read another article. There it is. Oh, what's wrong with me? I can't even see it in the opening sentence. He was born in Griffin, GA, and he was born in 45 too, you guys. He was born in 45. You know why that matters? Because look at those green jacket numbers. Green jacket's 45. Augusta's also 45. And this was one of the things I liked about Scheffler being 9 under going into green jacket day, because when you add 1 through 9 together, it's 45. It's a green jacket number. And the guy who was in first place, Sungjae Im, or Im, however you say his last name, he was 50-1, but had a great riddle for the tournament, and he exceeded expectations, finishing up at the top. But he was in the lead on day 1 on his 9th day of his age. And again, this knowledge, I mean, that's the thing about a golf tournament. There's a lot of ways to bet. You don't have to bet on the winner. You can bet on days of the week. And when guys have nice alignments, and again, for those of you guys who are sitting there and going, this is stupid, again, there's people in this community who realize this wasn't stupid. They've been paying attention for years. They're using their own mind. They're looking at it every week. They're decoding it every week. People like Bally go backwards, and they're getting better and better and better. And it's just like the man who called in yesterday. He used the word guarantee. He said, I guarantee Lowry finishes in third tomorrow. And again, guarantee is dangerous, but he had a good reason why. Because he, like we said, he kept noticing that golfers who are 137 days after their birthday in these tournaments, the 33rd prime, are finishing in third. And again, I make it easy for people to go through it and take notes because we put out we look at every golfer and analyze and see who has the riddles. And just to make a point, if you were on the Patreon, you get all this information. I went through about the top 40 golfers, and again, this is what it looks like when we decode. So these were the top odds. Jon Rahm was the favorite. Spieth was the second. Morikawa. See, to me, it was just so suspicious that Morikawa was up so high because his best finish at the Masters was 18th. I mean, he's a good golfer, but it didn't seem that like he should even be ahead of Justin. Well, he had the same odds as Justin Thomas, but he just won it 2 years ago, which we nailed dead on before the tournament began. And anyway, like, why is he even ahead of Rory? I mean, Rory is a higher ranked player. So it just seems suspicious that he was ranked so high, plus he had a good riddle. And that kind of tempted me into thinking, like, maybe that's why they got him so high, because they don't want to pay out much on him. But Scheffler was right behind him in the odds. Plus 1,600 means if you bet 100, it pays 1,600. You could still get good money on him even going into the last day, because it's a lot to maintain a 3-stroke lead and win the tournament. Golf, you can lose 3 strokes on a hole. So anyhow, we went through and we look, and we said, Jon Rahm, not a whole lot going on here. He's got the Skull and Bones thing. The reason that matters is because Skull and Bones is 322. If you look into the Masters, the original name of the tournament was Augusta National Invitational, which is 322, and the first ever tournament began on March 22nd, 322. So we look for things like that, but not super interesting. Spieth, he didn't really have much going on at all. Colin Morikawa, what he had going was just this right here, because the green jacket riddles so often are winners. The tournament ended 63 days after Morikawa's birthday, and this was his 63rd event. And he finishes in the top 5, so I mean, that's another bet you can make that has good value. For him to finish strong made a lot of sense, and he did. And you might have noticed today that his final shot and Rory McIlroy's final shot, they were paired together. They both had amazing shots out of the sand to finish 7 under with McIlroy and 4 under with Morikawa. Again, magic numbers 7 and 4, and truly magical shots. But again, just so you can see in Gematria, green jacket has that 63. Now, had it been 45, that's a lot better. And last year's winner, who was 40-1 before the tournament, who was an Asian man, he had the 45 thing going on last year, and that's why we really liked him at 40-1, and he hit. The ciphers on the left, you guys, the green and the dark blue, are better than the ciphers on the right, the reverse, but you can't ignore the ciphers on the right. They can be very helpful. Morikawa had a great riddle for it, and he was in contention, one of the top golfers in the tournament. So that's why when you find these guys with the strong riddles, you can know who to play, and you necessarily don't have to play him to finish in first. But I am not shocked at all that Morikawa is right up there at the top. So, going down the list, Justin Thomas, who won 2 years ago, he started out with Tiger. The thing was, he didn't have anything in terms of the green jacket or the year he won. It was the 84th tournament. He had a really nice little Jesuit ritual the year he won it, and they moved the tournament that year because of coronavirus. So it was unique that year. He had the perfect ritual. Or hold on, it wasn't Justin Thomas. It's the other one. I always confuse the two. The guy who won 2 years ago is who had the perfect ritual the other year. So I take it back. It wasn't Justin Thomas. His best finish is 4th. Rory McIlroy, what he had coming under his belt was coming in with 13 Masters. So this was his 14th. That's the golf number in the reverse cipher. So, I mean, noteworthy. And he did finish 2nd overall. So, and his 14th Masters, he has his best ever finish. When Tiger won, he was age 43, the 14th prime, so he had a golf number for his Masters appearance. Honestly, interesting, but like to me, Morikawa's alignment even more interesting. Still, Rory finished ahead of him. They both finished in the top 5. Dustin Johnson is who I'm confused with. Dustin Johnson won the Masters the other year with the perfect Jesuit order ritual in the 84th Masters, where Jesuits 84, born in 1984. This is our guy. The guy born in 84 won the 84th Masters, and it was 144 days from his birthday. Jesuits 84, Jesuit orders 144. He did have a nice end date alignment today, and I do believe he finished in the top 10. Here, let's see who was all in the top 10 here. Let's see how it finished. So Scheffler, obviously first. Rory in second. He finished 8 under for the day. Had an amazing day. 7 under for the tournament. Lowry shot 3 under today. Finished third overall, like our man called in last night. Really liked that. He was tied for third with Mr. Smith, who was paired up with Scheffler, who, put the ball in the water. Had some misfires through his club. Morikawa, who had an excellent day today to finish in the top, He came roaring back to finish in the top 5, shooting 5 under. Corey Connors, we'll get to what I had for him. I can't specifically remember what it was for Connors. Zalatoris, this was his 45th event. Again, big green jacket number. Sign that, he's probably going to have a great tournament. If you bet on Zalatoris at the beginning to finish in the top 10, nice payout. I mean, you could put something down on him from to win it all. Would have been a huge payout. But again, you don't have to bet for the top, but you're looking for the guys who have the strongest rituals. Justin Thomas, who we were just going over, who I confuse with... every time I confuse their name. Justin Thomas, who won it 2 years ago, he had the nice end date today, 293 days after, 62nd prime, that Augusta, Georgia thing. He finishes in the top 10. So interesting alignment. You're always looking for the master numbers, the green jacket numbers, or the location numbers. It seems to be these things year after year that are the winning combination. And let's see. Who was 50-1 to start, who had a great riddle, as we'll get to. He finished up there. Cameron Champ, who's funny. I looked at him because it's the 100th day of the year, right? And African American's 100, and I was like, you got to think somebody from the African American group's going to do well. And I was thinking it was Cameron Champ because I remember he is technically African American, but man, he's very light. When I looked at his picture on Google, I thought he was a white guy. I was like, oh, I must be mistaken. But then somebody called in, they're like, no, you're right, Zach. Cameron Champ's African American. I was like, okay, well, let's keep an eye on Cameron Champ. He finishes in the top 10. Schwartzel, who won the Masters in 2011, the Master number 11. He wins it 11 years later. And by the way, have you guys seen that ad they're showing for University of Phoenix where everything is 11? And then at the end, the homeless guy's holding up the sign, clues are all around us. I really do think Scheffler screwed up and was supposed to shoot an 11 under. So, anyhow. Our Asian boys did great for us, finishing in the top 10. Scheffler finished up at the top, who had an awesome riddle. We'll get to Cameron Smith, whose connection is through the last golfer from his country, Australia, to win the Masters back in 79, the 22nd prime, whereas here we are in 22. But here, let's continue. So Cameron Smith. He had the nice Illuminati numbers. And again, I know a lot of you guys think this stuff's silly, but it's a real thing, the Illuminati, and it's Jesuit. We're looking for the Jesuit Illuminati connections. This is what we're looking for because we're not sheep over here. We know the cabal is into Kabbalah and letters and numbers, and we prove it day after day. But anyhow, the last man from Australia to win the Masters did it in 79, and it's the 22nd prime, so we said, okay, that's a narrative for Cameron Smith. Being from Australia as well, and it being 43 years later, the 14th prime, where golf's 14. So we thought this man was interesting. And again, you notice how a lot of the guys up here at the top, we're like, nothing interesting. So we're pegging the guys who finished well, if you're not realizing this. And again, you guys can go back and watch the stream from before the Masters and see that none of this is hindsight. None of this is edited after the fact. This is what it is. Scottie Scheffler. Now, somebody had the call of the day because I had to amend my notes and add more onto it for Scheffler with the caller who phoned in who'd been tracking the PGA this year. I have not been doing as much with any sports because I've been trying to finish my third book, which I'm very close to, but I'm like Scheffler at the end of the Masters, keep putting the ball past the hole. I'm like, I just can't quite get it in there yet. But hold on. Okay, so Scheffler, everything that was interesting about him. 293 days after his birthday, the tournament ends, connecting to the tournament place. PGA stats, it's going to be his next top 10 is 22. And I was just so big on this because I was saying, look at this, you guys. It's his 76th event and can get his 22nd top 10. Again, just going back to what we originally knew. The two ciphers where when things lined up in it, man, they smashed. News and sports. Masters, 76-22, his 22nd top 10 finish. And it's a big one, right? It's a win. His 22nd top 10 in his 76th event at the Masters. And what somebody called in and said is, Zach, he won on the 86th day of the year, 86 days before his birthday. So I went and checked. I said, man, that's spot on. And I said, oh, that is hard to ignore. Plus, that was 14 days before the Masters ends, another golf thing. And then, just talking about him being teammates with Stafford or not teammates, but just going to the same high school, and then the Super Bowl 56 and 56 days later thing. And the tournament ended on the 56 date numerology. So Scheffler, great riddle. He, as you notice, he also has the 44 in his name. That's probably not an accident because, like we were talking about, you guys, Georgia's 44. Matt Stafford, who went to Georgia, who just won the Super Bowl on the 44th day of the year, also has that 44. So Scheffler even has that in his name, the 44. Now, Brooks Koepka, he did not have a good tournament, but he actually had a pretty, I'm guessing the majority of people in my community who lost on a thing. I wasn't crazy about Koepka, but I did say, we got to think about how the tournament ends 23 days after his birthday. Masters and Koepka's both 23. 23 is the ninth prime. The reason I didn't hype Koepka a lot, even though that seems like a nice riddle, because he just, I don't know, he seems to be like a hype machine that he has won 8 tournaments, but he's just always a favorite, and he seems like he rarely wins, even when he has a good riddle. So I'm not a big Koepka guy. The numbers were there, but he didn't have the greatest tournament, and I'm not shocked again. He probably does win it at some point in his career because he does have it in his name. But again, it's just the year he wins, he's going to have I don't know. So somehow the birthday alignment's going to have to be just right, or he's going to have to do something. Maybe it's like the 88th Masters and he wins the PGA tournament on the 88th day of the year or something, and then it'll be like, okay, maybe this is Koepka's year. But he just seems to be such a hype machine that so often doesn't deliver. That's what I've noticed in the time I've been following. Cantlay had a good opening day ritual, and he had a good first day. But again, you want it to line up with the last day. And these are the things we always teach, same points I make all the time. Hovland had a good riddle for the first day, but, not for the last day. And again, just so these are the guys with the lower odds, and I want to take you down to the man who was 50-1, who finished very well in the top 10, and who had a great riddle, who was Asian. We got to scroll down because he's way down here. Here he is. So this man, the tournament ended 11 days after his birthday, right? That's the master number, 11. And it also began on his 9th day of his age, which is related to 45, which is green jacket. So this guy has really nice numbers. Plus, in his name, he has the 99. And by the way, if you're wondering why I do the initial with the name, that's the scorecard name. And in some tournaments, it seems like all the guys in the top 10, like on the opening day, it'll be because their number in the scorecard name. So often it doesn't even matter, but I always do the due diligence of putting it there in case that ends up being the pattern so people can track onto it. But his full name's got the 99, so, he's got numbers. And again, bet on him to finish in the top 10 with the 50-1 odds to win it. That's a nice payout just to finish in the top 10. So... And like I told my people, Tiger had great numbers, but I was just really doubting Tiger because I was like, I don't think casinos can afford to pay out on Tiger when he starts a tournament 60-1. So many people are going to put some fun money down on Tiger that casinos don't want to pay out a bunch of $600 bets on people who just put down $10 on Tiger because they love him. And I guarantee you there's probably a million bets placed like that across the nation. So you have to think about that from the casino's point of view. If there's a million people who bet $10 just trying to win 60 on Tiger, you think they want to pay out $60 million to the public on a guy that probably even more than a million people bet on? It's probably, So I was telling people, even though Tiger, there's the whole comeback from the crash and all that makes sense. It is possible that in the future, Tiger finally does win again at the Masters and gets his 6th win. He did finish 6 over today on his last day and 13 over for the tournament, which is the 6th prime. The next time he wins the Masters will be the 6th. But realize Tiger is tied right now for the most tournament wins in PGA history with Sam Snead. And his next win will be the tiebreaker, which will be his 83rd win. And remember when he crashed, they said he was traveling 83 and a 45, green jacket 45. The course or excuse me, not the course, but the clubhouse, the famous clubhouse, the Augusta National Golf Club is 83. And, afterwards when they're on TV in the green jacket in the clubhouse and they're talking about the history of the building. The other year when coronavirus was happening, Tiger had to eat his Masters dinner there all by himself. He had the corona blues. But he could very well end up having a great story someday and winning that 6th Masters, and it might be the all-time tiebreaker for one of the greatest Masters golfers there ever was. And by the way, Bagger Vance, played by Will Smith, Bagger Vance, he tells the story about how his uncle lost his legs, but he went on to have a very successful life. And remember that when Tiger got injured, they told us that he nearly had to have his legs amputated. So, anyhow, Gematria. This knowledge, it really is undeniable, you guys. It proves itself every day in spades. And it's not just about gambling either. It's about helping people see that there is like a royalty, a ruling class. And things are planned and scripted and very carefully and very brilliantly. It's mind-blowing when you realize. Sweet lady. It was funny. Today she was asking me how they could rig the tournament. I was like, well, you just need the rest of the field to play down. And I said, it's possible. It's possible that there's even technology out there like Michael Jordan's Space Jam where Bugs Bunny's under the courts with magnets. It's possible. It's not necessary. But she was like, why would you say that? I was like, sometimes they're just really crazy shots and just things that just seem like impossible odds that happen. And right, minutes after I was telling her that, Rory hits the long shot out of the sand that curves all around the green and into the hole. And then his partner, that was his last shot of the day. And then his partner on the next one out of the same sand trap hits a nice long one just dead on right for the pin and just drops. And it's like, see, that's what I mean. What are the odds that both guys out of the same sand trap on the last shot of the day nail these amazing shots? It is possible. But just so often things like that happen. And then when you know the numbers to see how they fell to 4 under and 7 under on those shots. If you guys are new here, the license plate in the background doesn't say what is 47 by accident. Here, just to make it bigger, that's what that license plate says back there. Again, that's a signature number of the Cabal. And that's one of the great highlights of this tournament. Those two doing that back-to-back, even though they weren't the winners, but just two of the more amazing things that happened. And again, to finish 4 under and 7 under, what number are we looking at? 4 and 7. What's that? So the two of them together finished 11 under at the Masters, where year after year it's about 11. The biggest long shot who finished in the top 10 was Schwartzel, who again won it in 2011 and then came from way low in the odds to finish in the top 10 11 years later. And I gotta close out with this real quick. I gotta look this up. Bear with me a minute. I want you to see this commercial that they were showing during the Masters in case you didn't see it. Let me get this up here. This is perfect. Hold on, we got to get through a little commercial. 1 second. Okay, if the volume's a little bit quiet, I'm going to try to make it loud. If the volume's a little bit quiet, just watch the screen. You mostly just got to see. Why is that not showing up? Oh, there we go. Hold on. Okay, we got it up here. But just pay attention because mostly it's visuals, but they do say more 11s and listen to the address he wants to go to. And again, they're just doing this during the Masters, and then watch the homeless guy on the end and what his sign says.
Hey, I was thinking about going back to school to get my master's.
I just saw something that said you could do it in a year for like $11K.
Order 11? Yes, here at 11.
1111 Masters Boulevard, please.
It's gonna be 11 even, buddy.
Really?
The clues are all around us.
Some things are too obvious to be a coincidence.
Some things are too obvious to be a coincidence. The clues are all around us. And, I can't say for sure, but is this New York that they're in? Because this is what clued me into numerology. It was what happened on the 11th of September in New York, the 11th state, when the massive buildings came down in perfect demolition form that looked like a massive 11 after the first plane was AA-11. And, of course, Papa Bush, 11 years to the day, gave a speech about a new world order, a world free of terror, September 11th, 1990. Not to mention he was the 11th director of the CIA. His son graduated from Yale and Skull and Bones. In 1968, with a graduating class of 911, he was the president when 911 happened. 1968, World Trade Center construction began. 911 was made the national emergency dialing code by AT&T. And again, if you didn't know that, here, it's on the Yale website. Yale website, graduating class of 1968. So this is Yale's website. What in the hell? This is what I hate about the Orwellian age, you guys. Look, it's changed. I documented this before months ago in a live stream just like this. Now the alumni's 910. What the hell? Hold on, you guys. I have a video documenting this from not that long ago. God, this is what I hate about this computer age, man. They can just change information in a second. Now it's 910. You got to be kidding me. I even have it cited in my book as their website, which was accurate until, well, I just looked today. Hold on. Okay, my website is so annoying in the search. It should come up. Here, I got the screenshot from the website from not that long ago. Okay, this is very recently, you guys. I just posted this, and I showed it in a video around the same time. I posted this on February 8th, okay? That on Yale's website, the graduating class was 911, okay? So I got to call Yale and ask what happened. How come your website said 911, now it says 910? It's the Orwellian age. If you never read George Orwell's 1984, the information changes in real time. The world's controlled by screens and fear and propaganda. Information's changing all the time. This is just like, if you guys don't know, Google changed the height of the Pentagon after one of my videos on the subject got over 500,000 views. It changed like days later. But if you type in how tall is the Pentagon, Google lies to you and tells you it's 71 feet tall. It's not 71 feet tall. I mean, you can prove it all over the place. I mean, even below it tells you how tall it really is. It's 77 feet tall is how tall the Pentagon is. And remember, you guys, that most pure cipher. You remember what happened to the Pentagon on 9/11, right? On September 11th. Here, let me spell out September 11th first. 77. First of all, Pentagon construction began September 11th, 1941, just before Pearl Harbor. They called 9/11 the new Pearl Harbor. Pearl Harbor was December 7th, 127. Buildings 1, 2, and 7 fell on 9/11. Pentagon got hit. Do you remember the plane that hit the Pentagon? Flight 77. Where's Washington, D.C.? It's on the 77th Meridian West. Flight 77 supposedly took off at 8:20 and crashed at 9:37. That's 77 minutes later. So do I have it all? Flight 77 on the 77th Meridian crashes 77 minutes after taking off on September 11th, 77. And then the other big ritual that day was the World Trade Center, right? World Trade Center 77. Again, Gematria, just the things it reveals, you guys. The world stage is what it reveals. The politics, the propaganda, the rig system, from the news to the sports. And you know where Scheffler went to school, where Stafford went to school, where Kershaw went to school? They're in the neighborhood that's right where the Bush family used to be, too. So that's who lives in this area, right? These types, the Skull and Bones types, the Secret Society types, the controllers of the world types. And yeah. Here, just to give you a few more notes about Tiger shooting a 13 over. I want you to think about this. I want you to think about this symbol right here. The dollar bill, right? With the Latin on it, the language of Rome. Rome, Italy, Jesuits, Catholic Church, Mafia. How many layers of bricks, counting up, are on the bill? 13, right? 13 layers of bricks. 13 layers of bricks to the unfinished capstone, the all-seeing eye with the sun rays coming off it. And if you guys want to understand why sun rays are coming off the eye, first of all, you have to know that the eye was put on the dollar bill in 1935. 35. Most simple cipher, the alphabetic order. Look up Genesis 3:5. It's about the eyes of God. I is 35. With the most pure cipher, Holy See, that's the area the Catholic Church controls. Holy See is 35. Catholic is 35. Jesuitism is 35. How do you spell the American Mafia? What's their official name? How do you spell it? What do they call it again? The Cosa Nostra. The Cosa Nostra. It's 35 as well. You see that? And again, the biggest statue at the Vatican is the pine cone, which represents the mind's eye, the pineal gland. Just like I is 3 letters, right? Just like you have 3 eyes, 2 on your face, 1 in your head. The square root of 35, or the number 1225 is the square root of 35, right? 1225, the square root of 35. The pagans, which are a sun cult, which the Catholic Church started out as, what day do they celebrate the sun's birthday? 1225, what we now call Christmas Day, right? Jesus, the Son of God, the Catholic Church, controlling our minds from a young age, using symbols, right in front of our face that we're not supposed to understand. The Catholic Church, churches can't be taxed, money, right? The Catholic Church always needed more money. The Catholic Church, a lot of people trying to get away from it, and the Protestant Reformation, which led to the formation of this country because of indulgences, which were mandatory taxes essentially from the church, which used to be the government of Europe. And by the way, in that same cipher, the Catholic Church used to rule Europe, right? That was the government, the Catholic Church. Europe's also 35. But the 13 layers of bricks, and this being the 86th Masters, if you guys have been with me from the beginning, I used to call 86 the pyramid number. Pyramid is 86, right? Triangle is 86. Symbol is 86. That blew my mind when I first started this, when I did everything in the handbook, and I was like, there's something to that. Pyramid, triangle, and symbol, most famous symbol in the world, arguably that pyramid on the dollar bill. Dollar bills, dollar bills, y'all all over the world. All world currencies pegged to the dollar, at least for now, till the New World Order next shakeup. But think about it. The 86th Masters, Tiger shoots a 13 over, this marketing money magnet, right? He sold so much merchandise. He sold so much red and black Tiger Woods wannabe gear for Nike. So many car endorsements. Again, all this stuff comes back to money, too, making people worship these people because they're just so amazing. And again, I just look at all the symbolism. Stafford does his 13 thing, Don't forget, when you spell out 13, it equals 99. The tournament began on Tiger's 99th day of his age. Green jacket. He's one of more of them than anybody else playing in this tournament. He doesn't need to win another one. He's always going to be Tiger Woods the king. And then on the 99th day of the year, the young black man's dying at age 24. And a year ago, I was talking about the death of a young black man, DMX, dying 24 years after doing 24 hours to live. Dark Man X, 49. Just the same type of rituals year after year. Last year on the 99th day of the year, Prince Philip died at 99 on the 99th day of the year. And Queen Elizabeth's birth name, let me just show you. Queen Elizabeth's birth name is 99. I can't believe Yale changed their website. It pisses me off. Now, if people look in my book, luckily I haven't sent it off yet, I'm debating on having to take it out now. In my book that I'm finishing, I have the source for where Yale's graduating class is 911, which it was just days ago. I'm gonna see if I can get some in print thing from Yale that still says 911. I wonder if that's possible. But here's Queen Elizabeth's birth name: Elizabeth Alexandra Mary. Read it and weep. 99 in the most pure cipher. Her husband dead at 99 on the 99th day of the year. Then this year on the 99th day of the year, last black quarterback of the Redskins dead. Synced up with the first black quarterback of the Redskins to win a Super Bowl. If you guys missed yesterday's video, Doug Williams, from his birthday to the death of Haskins, it was exactly 243 days later. And again, Haskins' only NFL games played were with the Redskins, but he's now a member of the Steelers. And not to mention, he just signed his latest contract with the Steelers 24 days before dying at age 24, 24 days before his own birthday. And speaking of 24, it is a PGA number. Again, dead by dumpster. Scheffler on the day of the Super Bowl won the Waste Management Tour. But PGA is also 24, so it kind of fits in with the golf thing and the green jacket thing. And again, both of them being from New Jersey. Like the Sopranos being the garbage company. Symbolic, because the mob does control garbage companies worldwide. And why do you think they control garbage companies? They want to bury evidence. They want to bury bodies. I'm sure a lot of people who are never found before, they're in the bottom of a mob landfill. But and you're looking at a guy whose future could be that. And for all of you guys who leave comments like, don't you ever worry they're going to get rid of you? I don't worry about it because, again, the thing that I worry about worse than ending up at the bottom of a landfill, the thing I worry about worse is living another day and watching the world get worse than it has been in the last 20 years being awake since 9/11. Thinking about, oh my God, how much worse can it get? How much more blind can people be? How am I supposed to coexist in a society where I got to act like a sheep to fit in? You know? How many more times do I have to be the only guy in the room who can make an intelligent comment and somebody just laugh at me and go, oh, it sounds like some dumb conspiracy. I'm like, dumb conspiracy? Oh, so you believe the official story of 9/11 and, you know, I mean, that's what's annoying. Just like dumb people who believe in absolute... I can't tell you how many dumb comments I got on my Dwayne Haskins video yesterday. So what do you mean? How could it be a conspiracy? It's like, how could it be a conspiracy? How could it be anything other than a conspiracy? You believe that he was just walking across the freeway? Under what circumstances would you need to walk across the freeway? Most freeways have a shoulder on both sides. One's usually a lot bigger. Why would you pull over on the wrong side of the freeway? I mean, you can't. But even if you did, wouldn't you likely stay in your car and call AAA, especially if you're a rich guy, or if you don't have AAA, call a towing company? Not get out and walk across the freeway in front of a dump truck? And if his body really was there, who's to say he wasn't killed, thrown in the back of a mob dump truck, and then the scene's created right there with the corrupt cops? I mean, how many years you got to watch gangster films that they make you in Hollywood, make for you in Hollywood, where you see how the mobs with the money, you know, they control certain cops in town. I mean, again, you guys, this symbol, it buys people. It makes things happen, you know? You do want the glory of wearing the green jacket, but maybe you also want to stay on the tour as a millionaire, so, hey, finishing in 8th place isn't such a big deal this year. Hey, I still made a nice chunk of money, got my PGA salary, I got my winnings, still going to be on the tour, I get to play here next year. You know, little imagination answers a lot of questions. Money answers the rest. I don't know why people are so dense to this stuff. And just notice how up at the same time, Tiger's up there, Dwayne Haskins is up there. Augusta 99, Green Jacket 99, Redskins 99 on the 99th day of the year. You know what I mean? All right, you guys, we'll leave it there for now. Tonight, 6 p.m. Pacific, GematriaEffectNews 23. That's what channel I'll be using tonight. I might even stream it on this channel. I think I'll stream it on Gematria Effect Sports too. Jeff Young of Megadeth, former guitarist for Megadeth, he's going to come on tonight and give a guitar lesson. If you want to learn how to play guitar, you know, Jeff Young's going to give you, you know, a very interesting lesson. And he said, if you've never played a guitar before, based on this lesson that he's going to teach, you'll be able to pick up a guitar and get started. And he's going to teach it in terms of sacred geometry. So I have no idea how this is going to... It's going to be news to me. I don't know anything about playing the guitar with the methods of sacred geometry, but Jeff Young says it's a brilliant way to learn. It's a great way for starters. And that's going to be going on here pretty soon, about 6 p.m. Pacific, my time. I'm on the West Coast. You guys on the East Coast are like, what? 6? It's going to be 9 p.m. on the East Coast when it starts. But it'll be on Gematria Effect News 23. I think I'll also stream it on Gematria Effect Sports. And I think the rest of my Gematria Effect News channels have too many strikes to even take a risk. I'm trying to keep any channel from getting deleted. But we'll be back here shortly with Jeff Young. Yes, so 9 p.m. in New York City, correct. 9 p.m. if you're in Florida. 9 p.m. if you're in that Eastern Standard Time Zone. So, all right, that's all for now, Truth Seeker. And again, congrats to the winners. Another successful Masters. And I'm just thinking, man, I shouldn't have faded. I shouldn't have faded the idea on the 86. Again, hindsight's always 20/20. Scheffler had one of the top riddles. We identified that for sure. But in hindsight, it's like he easily had the best riddle. Come on, Zach. Got too much on that Asian thing. It might be because my sweet lady is an Asian. I'm partial to the Asians. I like Asian people. Anyway, I like all people. Don't get me wrong. Anyway, till next.